Hello and welcome. Today we've got Ben Pellom and we are going to be discussing Geneva Lake with the CIA connection and also Tim Berners-Lee, who created the World Wide Web and the connection to CERN. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And I'm also banned on YouTube as from last Friday for 2 weeks. Until then, I'll be uploading on BitChute, Rumble, and CloutHub. The links are below in the description. Ben, thank you for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
I'm doing fine. I've just continued to do my own planetary research, and that's enough to keep me busy at this point in my life. So I'm still doing that and trying to get the information out to the public, because once the information gets out, especially about my lunar research, it can make a huge difference, I think, in disclosure about what's really there. And you can take from that the astronauts, that if they went, and probably did, when they came back, they had to have been told to conceal what they knew and saw there. So pretty explosive, but I've got tons of it on my Pellom planetaryresearch.com website. Some 60 images of lunar complexes, industrial complexes that are on that website, and many, many, many more images, but it's not posted there. So it's a very interesting situation up there.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
No, please.
Okay, and before I get into that, I was going to talk just a little bit about CERN and a British man by the name, a scientist, by the way, of Tim Berners-Lee. And he was working at CERN, and while he was there, among the other things, other duties that he had, most people get a kick out of this, I did, he invented the World Wide Web in 1989, and he conceived it. And then of August the 6th, 1991, he actually launched it. The very first internet domain was info.cern.ch. And CH, of course, is the extension, domain extension for Switzerland. And he kicked it off. He was an interested man. As I understand it, he's back in England now. And I think he's still working with computers and whatnot. That's one interesting aspect of CERN. There's, of course, they have the super collider there, the Large Hadron Collider, that they send stuff in opposite directions and they collide it. And they're trying to find out, study they're probing for the fundamental structure of particles that make up everything around us. And so that's pretty deep stuff. I just read that it's going on there. I'd like to mention too, David Chase Taylor article, extensive article written in September the 17th, 2015. And it was titled, he was writing for 911truther.org. The title of his article was Babylon is Falling. The secret CIA secret CIA headquarters and its connection to Lake Geneva there that sits on the border between France and Switzerland. But he writes, it's extensive. He describes that they're deep under there and that they don't even come to work at CERN. They come in from other entrances, in some cases even by submarine, according to him. He also gave the coordinates. I don't know where he got it, but his article was extensive, and it's still on the net. And he gave coordinates for where the CIA headquarters were. I'll leap ahead right there just a little bit to back that article up. There's a lady that I like her research, and you're familiar with her. Her name is Kirsten Weldon. And she goes under Kirsten W. on some of her reports. In December the 9th, 2021, she writes about Lake Geneva and her intel sources. I'm not sure exactly what all they are, but she seems pretty sure of them and claims to have a good hit rate on this stuff. She talked also about Lake Geneva and the CIA being dismantled. And she goes on to say that she expects earthquakes, which would be man-made earthquakes, to flood and destroy the tunnel system that's under there. That'll be interesting to see if anything like that plays out. But that's some of the stuff that's working over there, that's going on over there. And let's see, I talked about that was Chae's trailer. There's one other connection there before I go on. I want to get into showing you the cover that comes over Lake Geneva, and I got three other examples. It's I call it a concealment, a cover to keep you from seeing what's really in any lake, for that matter, where there is a secret stuff. And so I'll get into that. And I did want to mention that Edward Snowden, he was a whistleblower. He was assigned to the CERN area CIA post in charge of a vast, according to the article, written by Malcolm Curtis. Now, Malcolm Curtis passed away at 62 years old. He was British also, had lived in Canada. And as I understand it, he was bilingual and he worked there at CERN. For his magazine, his news organization was called thelocal.ch on their internet. But he talked about Edward Snowden being assigned to the CIA, and 2009, I believe, to 2012. And after that, he had 2 indictments opened against him. And I think he's still in captivity till this day. He wanted the public to know about what he was seeing on this vast computer network, that's some of the CIA activities. So I guess that'll be something to watch too. And he was concerned enough till he blew the whistle. And I believe there was do you have a Guardian, a newspaper, I believe, in Britain? I think that's the major organ that he leaked it out to. Okay, with that background, I just wanted to point out that is a very interesting and a hot button place over there. I will, if you'll fix it so I can share a screen, I'll show you Lake Geneva here, Nick.
Absolutely. I think you're able to do that now. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and hit the share screen button if I can get my mouse working here. Okay. So then I need to hit the got it thing right here, I believe, and share. Okay. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, Nick?
I can see it now, yeah.
Okay. Got some stuff up here blocking me out. Here's Lake Geneva. What I've done is I've skipped ahead here. A lot of the commentary, for the sake of time, I've knocked out of these things, and just want to show you a little bit of this, what I call a concealment cover, that's either built into Google Earth Pro app, or either, and I think the first thing is probably more probable. The other thing it possibly could be, I suppose, would be some kind of a hologram projected from underneath. But I'll turn it loose, and we'll watch the concealment cover take place as I start my zoom into Lake Geneva, and I'll show you the algorithm kick in here to hide what's in there, especially the western half of the lake. As I zoom a little further, it started to show already. You see all the cover, the concealment cover that's taking place. It's the same type cover they're using here that used in Lake Champlain, New York, and in Lake Tahoe, and also Houghton, Houghton Lake up in Michigan. It's the same thing. I just wanted you to see that it does go on, and they wouldn't have that there if they didn't want to conceal what's in this particular lake. So until next time, this has been PellomPlanetaryResearch.com and etishere.com, where I have a lot of good images. This
So
next
Ben,
one, hello everyone.
so Ben, are you showing us a tunnel in the
Yes,
lake that's supposed to be secret?
No, I'm just when you come in there by satellite mapping under Google Earth Pro. When you zoom in using the Google Earth Pro, it just won't let you zoom into the lake because of the things that materialize when you get so close. When you get in there so close, it puts a shield over the lake. It's even more pronounced in the lakes, the three that I have to follow this. I got into all this was I do research on what's under the water, and I found quite a bit of stuff, especially at Antarctica. I'll show you one example of that in a few minutes, and it's at Mawson Station, which is a Australian station in Antarctica. I'll show you the stuff I'm picking up using my method, and then the viewer can draw his own conclusion.
Okay.
So I'll click this. If you're ready, I'll go on to Lake Tahoe, California, if I can get this thing to.
Sure, please do.
I'm sorry, I've got to do something here, Nick. Yeah. Okay, now I'm good.
Your signal is a little bit bad, just to let you know.
All right. What'd you say, Nick?
Yeah, your signal is a little
What'd
bit
you
bad.
say, Nick?
Your signal is a little bit bad, just to let you know.
Well, these are. Yes, it would. Yes, that's right. And the people can go that are interested in this later can go to my YouTube channel. It's just Ben Pellom, and the recorded audio will vary in here because I'm just bringing up the audio that I have posted on YouTube here. This one is very interesting here. This is Lake Tahoe. I'll play it. They had Jacques Cousteau in there back in the 70s, I believe, and all kinds of stories written about this place. With your permission, I'll go ahead and turn it loose. I've cut most of the commentary out of it. But it's really, you're going to get a kick out of this. We're also talking about the YouTube video of him interviewed by Emery Smith of Gaia.com. He talked about the 7 western states that actually rest on the Pacific Ocean. They have submarines going and coming under the particular states. But anyway, he talked about Lake Tahoe, and he alluded to Jacques Cousteau that went down and looked around and reportedly was asked what he had found down there. And Jacques Cousteau was quoted as saying, the world isn't ready for what I saw down there, something to that effect. Anyway, I was just looking around because, I look in the water bodies around the world, and I've got many things posted on, especially on both websites. ET is here, especially things that I found underwater. So anyway, I'll go in and let you see this algorithm trip in. I call it a concealment algorithm. And I found it at the point where the 9th month of 2018 on the history slider of the Google Earth Pro application. That's where I found that it would kick in. I just wanted to show you to let you see it deploy. so I'm going to start my zoom in there and watch when we get in there too close what happens here. Look at this. Just the very same thing that's in Lake Champlain, New York. If you get in the wrong place in that particular lake. Now, all of these concealment things that they have algorithms written for don't all look like this. Some of them look like kind of like mesh or steel wool, and many other things. Just you find all kind of things in there that conceal what you find looking around at these bodies of water. So somebody have a lot on there from Antarctica, and up in Chile I have an underwater discovery there, and then on up in Alaska a couple of things up there that I found underwater also. But I did want you to see this. I want to let it deploy again. There it is. There it is. So it's there. And if you get in the wrong place in there, they're not going to let you see anything using Google Earth Pro. So the beings that are on down deep under there, on down in there, living deep in the earth, even on under the water, their signal transmits quite well up through the water and reacts to the satellite systems that identify, I suppose, satellite systems identify that as a place where there are beings. Anyway, I just wanted you to see what I meant to be a little bit shorter screen capture video on this. Just okay, Nick, I'll go on to the next one here. The audio is better on it also. That was Lake Tahoe. This is Houghton Lake. Houghton Lake is near Houghton, Michigan, the city up there. And let's see, I'll go ahead and turn it loose. It's an interesting place. I had a person on Facebook that sent me a request for a friend request, that once sent me some stuff that he thought was actually directed energy weapons. He had a bunch of video of lights around, and I think coming out of that lake and actually coming into it. So something's going on up there, and this, I'll let you see the algorithm kick in on it also.
Yeah, Ben, turn up the, that's it. Turn up the volume all the way up on that. That's it. Thank you. Houghton Lake in Michigan. It's near Houghton in Michigan. And the question is, I guess we need to ask ourselves, is it an alien base under this lake down into the earth, or could it be one of the United States, a base of the United States? I'm going to zoom in and show you let you see the algorithm trip concealment protection to keep people from seeing this place. I'm using Google Earth Pro right now, so I'll start zooming in, and we will see what we can get here. Okay, it's on the way now. We're headed to Houghton Lake, Michigan, and now we have arrived. You see that tripping in already? Wow, look at that. You get too close, the algorithm kicks in and completely just hides this place. This one is similar. Well, it's about the exact same thing that I showed in Lake Tahoe, California. I just have the Lake Tahoe oriented, parallel. And so anyway, I'll let you see this thing deploy. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to go in there now and watch me when I get close. There it comes. There it comes. So anyway, if they're not hiding something there, why did they have this? Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to move off the Houghton Lake over on the landmass here, and we can zoom for the rest of time, and you won't have anything trip like that
you won't have an algorithm click to hide anything on land. So we do know, we can tell from that, that it is specific to the water body of Houghton Lake. I'm going to find it back over there. I'll go ahead and sign off. I'll show it one more time here. There it is. There it is. So it's real. We've got either a United States base under there or either extraterrestrial base under there. That's my personal opinion. So until next time, this has been Pellom Planetary Research and Companion website. I'll move on now, Nick, to the Lake Champlain, Lake Champlain, New York. I think, okay, I'll turn it loose. We'll go ahead and start our Zoom here. And it's going to take us to Lake Champlain of New York. And so we've arrived there at Lake Champlain. And I'll go ahead and rotate this. Just rotate it so we're looking east and west on it there. And I'll zoom in and watch what happens when we get in there too close. You can see some of it trying to trip already, but keep watching. Look at that. That's not an accident, folks. That is deliberate. Keep out covers what that is. So we know there's some activity underneath Lake Champlain. Could be extraterrestrial. It could be a joint venture between the deep state and the extraterrestrial. Who knows? But somebody's running something under there. And I just wanted to make this little screen capture video to illustrate that. I'll make it go away now a little bit. And I'll come in one more time. And so you can see it's got it all snuffed out. Now, to prove that this, some people might say, well, it's pixelation. That would be a stretch to even think that. But I'll move out onto the land mass to the west of that. And then I'll zoom in. And as you can see, there is no algorithm kicking in, nothing obscuring what we're seeing, just a bunch of land down our farms and the like. So when we go back over the lake, I'll come back over there one more time before we close out here. So we can get one more little glance at Lake Champlain and what they're hiding up there. That would be interesting to know, wouldn't it, what they're hiding there. All right, everyone, this is just a short little screen capture video that should be interesting to many. And I know it is to me. That tells us there's a whole lot we don't know about what's going on under our water bodies around the world. So until next time, this is Ben Pellom. I'll skip along now to the next one here, Nick. This is the reason I'm showing this. It kind of shows how I got started in my research in this and took it up to the moon. This was a discovery of Herbert Klein of the Netherlands. And he has quite a bit of research on that, just under his name, Herbert Klein. And he had one particular location that really caught my interest, and it was in the Arctic Circle area there above Canada. And it was an underwater installation or underwater complex. So he gave the coordinates, and I went up there. And so we'll take a little trip up there, and I'll show that to you and your audience, and it'll give them some idea how I got off on this chase. Hello, everyone. This is Ben Pellom, PellomPlanetaryResearch.com, and companion website, etishere.com. I want to invite you on board the spaceship Google Earth Pro and take a little trip with me above the Arctic Circle to capture an image of an underwater city or underwater complex there. It was first discovered by a wonderful researcher by the name of Herbert Klein of the Netherlands. So we'll go ahead and start our journey here. We're now headed to above the Arctic Circle. It's a territory of Canada. We have arrived, and you see the beautiful city or complex. I'll interject here, Nick. Oh, you can see the leap from this to the moon. That's dark in there and shaded, and in some cases, things under the water are. I went in there, and once I was able to get in there and pull out an image, then I got to thinking about going to the moon and going into the shadowy areas of the moon and see if I could do the same thing. So this had a lot to do with that as it worked out. Right before us here. Let's scroll around and let you just get an idea of the expanse of it. It's massive. It's a huge complex. And, most likely, this complex continues on under the island. There's a little island that's on the edge of it, and that island has a little over 500 residents or people that are there. It's also like a bird watching preserve and a nature thing. And so I personally think that they probably take elevators down and then easily enter in the underwater complex. So I'm going to take a screen capture here, and I just did that. And for to make it come to life, I'll put it in the first step, Zara Extreme Pro 5 software, which later the versions of it are called Zara Photo and Graphics Designer. It can be bought for, I believe, $59.99, and it was on sale a couple of days ago for $39.99. So it's very, very affordable. So I have pasted the image in there, and I'll just use the normal photographic adjustment tools like lighting to show you the beautiful place. It's already coming alive. I'll just touch it just a little with the contrast. Just a little, but get my nerves to work for me here. All right. Oh, my goodness. I got it back. I'll go ahead then and I'll take a copy of that. Then I'll go to the second step process and get the image so we can see it even better. This second step is done in Photoscape X Pro. Can be bought from Microsoft for only $39.99. Does a really good job. So it's already looking really well in there. And just for purposes of illustration, I'll go ahead and touch the lighting again here just a little bit. And just for the fun of it, I'll hit the contrast just a little. So you see we have a beautiful image there. I sure would like to know who the extraterrestrials are and what the people, Earthlings that are working with them are there. It's massive. So from there, you would just take the image and save it to your computer and set the size that you want and go ahead and use it. But this trip showed you clearly that it's there and that it is massive and that it is doable. So I've enjoyed having you aboard Spaceship Google Earth Pro with me. And until next time, this has been Pellom, PellomPlanetaryResearch.com, and companion website, etishere.com. Dick, before I move on, I will see if you have any questions at this point that you'd like to discuss with me
Sure.
about what I just showed you there in your audience.
We've identified that there's a possible, some type of structure, architecture underneath the ground, underneath the ocean.
Absolutely, yes.
Do you, what's your conclusion? You said extraterrestrials, which is probably most likely. Obviously, we're not 100%, but it's probably most likely with all the anomalies that we've come across, the last, few years now with everything coming out.
Absolutely. There's so much of it in, like Herbert Klein of the Netherlands had found other places too. I found a similar installation in Chile, very near to Esmeralda, Isla Esmeralda, which means Emerald Island. Down in Chile, there's a big one down there too. It doesn't show as well as Herbert does, but it's plenty plain to see that it's there. And on down in, as I skip on toward working my way to the moon, I did want to show you this in your audience. This is Mawson Station. I got this image at Mawson Station, which is Australian in Antarctica.
Right.
And you can see as it disappears under the ice that this is what I picked up using my methods down there. I had to consider the time of the year and the time of the day and so on to try to get at the warmest period for the area that I was working in down there, to show you that. And let's see, I have other things. I don't want to get too deep into it unless you did into my water stuff. I'll skip on to the moon with your permission then.
Absolutely. So you're saying, just before we move on, so you're saying that in Antarctica, there are other military bases around that area that you could see fading out into the ocean. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have, for instance, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Sorry.
This is just some of the things. This is page one of some of the things that I'm finding here. I want to just show you a couple of them before I skip on here. This picture here is Antarctica, also Mawson Station. And it's it's really modernistic. And just under it is still Mawson Station. That's really amazing stuff right there. To me, it is. If there's nothing there, how come I'm picking this up? Because I can move off the water, and I can move off the water over on the snow and ice, and I don't get anything, So gotta be something there, and I'm not sure really what it is. I think whatever it is, it's communicating somehow with the satellite technology as they come over and do their mapping. I take a wild guess that it would be like, if it is ET or a joint situation, it would perhaps identify that particular location to UFOs coming over and whatnot. Something is transmitting from under there to give me those pictures like that. I jump back then, Nick, to the home page here. I know your audience would like to see some of the moon stuff I have, and I have a lot of it. And this is can be explosive if it ever reaches the greater public through the news organizations.
Sure.
They are hesitant to touch things like this, but eventually it's going to go ahead. That they've been lied to about what is actually going on up on the moon. And so I'll jump over there and see if we can look at some images here. I'll stretch them just a little bit. And you stop me, Nick, anytime to comment or anything.
Sure.
This top image here is Hermite in the edge of Hermite Crater, which is in the northern hemisphere of the moon, not too far from the polar area. I would call your attention to the, I call it a conveyance alleyway running diagonally across this picture. And as you can see, it is really just absolutely jam full of equipment, production equipment or something that they're doing in there. And I had heard others comment on that. Jason Rice, the Secret Space Service soldier that under hypnosis and whatnot with Gaia, he talked about land being at an absolute premium up on the moon. And that may explain why that you can't get a toothpick between these structures and pictures like we just saw there. I'll skip on just a little. This is still Hermite Crater.
Sure. What do you say to
Hermite Crater has a...
Sure. What do you say to people who are wondering that, you know, this picture that you're showing now, the image, they look like pixels? What do you say to that?
Well, it's too good for anybody with even average vision. You can see that it's organized and that it's consistently across all of the pictures. This conveyance alleyway here, for instance, that you can see quite well there, you can see it's highly mechanical. Stuff in and take stuff out, but it has like elevators and things in it, gaps in it where things go down and come up, I'm assuming. This is a constant theme in most of the areas up on the moon. I did want to interject, too, that I have a man from the state of Washington out in the Northwest United States, upper left corner there. His name is Tom Huppert, Huppert. His YouTube channel is Tommy Tacoma. All of it run together, TOMMYTACOMA. He's done some marvelous research himself on Mars and some on the moon. He's come aboard with me to help me get this stuff out to the public. He shares my view to not hide anything of my discoveries, to give them to the public and try to help with disclosure. Tom Huppert is his name. This is really one of my very favorites here as we come into Plaskett Crater. Plaskett Crater is on the back side of the moon, south of, a little bit south of the polar area back there. And it has some of the most different structures or equipment in it of anything I've found on the moon yet. Just absolutely beautiful stuff. And this is Plaskett here also, Nick. You see this humongous equipment in there? It's so different. And down below it is another image of Hermite Crater. I just followed the conveyance alleyway, I named it. I just went down through there because it goes a long ways. And I think Plaskett Crater, just discussing with you, what is visible to me is about 20 by 15 miles wide, 20 miles long, roughly. Now that is a heavily industrialized area at that rate. This again is more in Hermite Crater. Your audience can go to my website. It's shown on all these pictures, Pellom, planetaryresearch.com, and look at these images. They'll be smaller and clearer to the eye once they pull them up. I would recommend, too, I'd like to interject if I could, mention Tom Huppert. Tom Hubert has already gone to the moon using my methodology, and he's capturing his own images. And we're asking anyone that's interested in the moon or any kind of research to go ahead and start capturing the images and try to get them out to the public. We will help them and we'll share with them in any way. And so all of these things are occurring, and eventually it's going to get out there. Now, this is what I call a covered alleyway. Whatever they're moving here, this is in the south hemisphere of the moon. It's about more than 2,000 miles from what we just saw up here southward. And this is just looking at it, it's like a covered tunnel way that's up there. And all this is equipment and stuff here. It's from a greater. This one is one of my favorites, really. It's also down in the South Polar area, and it has some very unusual machinery in here. It is really, truly, whatever it is, it's gigantic that they're using to make something up there. And another one of the very busy places here. And let's see, this is going to be, this is southeast of Hermite Crater here. But you can see these structures in here that are they're so different. They almost look like buildings. Just look like Monticello a little bit in the United States here, just part of this particular conveyance alleyway here. And Nick, you stop me anytime you want to interject or ask me any questions.
No, that's fine. I mean, we've been through this in our last interview as well, that, there seems to be some kind of consistent type of structure. It's fuzzy, it's not clear, and that's because you've tried to zoom in as much as you can, but you can see that there's lines which those lines look like tunnels. And we're still looking at it from a very distant, big distance away, despite that you have zoomed in onto the moon using other, Google Earth. I think you said Google Earth Pro, and then you take them onto a different editing software to lighten up the contrast, to bring out things that they try to censor, and where the algorithm, where they try to blur things out on Google Pro, are inconsistent and weak in the algorithm.
Absolutely. And Google Earth Pro is what I use for stuff on the Earth. But when you go to the moon with Google Earth Pro, or Mars for that matter, they have painted over their globe, if you will, the mapping that they used to build the virtual globe. When you zoom in, you just get a bunch of painted area. There's no definition there. You are in the right place, according to the coordinates and whatnot. And so I couldn't get anything using the Google Earth Pro. And I used the worldwide telescope app. It is a product of Microsoft. But in order to use it, I had to go through Google Earth Pro. Google Earth Pro identifies the topography, that names things on the moon, the craters and the Maria and all of that. And it also will give you coordinates for any place you are on the moon, and you can put the coordinates in to Google Earth Pro, and it'll take you up there, but you're not going to see anything except what they have obscured. So in order to identify, first I started out with the worldwide telescope out, looking around in the shadow areas and whatnot. Once I found something that I knew was there, and I'm getting something there, in order to identify it, I had to match it up, pull up the Google Earth Pro browser side by side and match the topography then at that point, I had the coordinates, and I could go ahead and make some notes on the Worldwide Telescope app so I could get back to it. So I had to do a workaround in order to get these images. And so folks in your audience that want to do this, if need be, they can communicate with me. My email address is on both websites, Pellom, planetaryresearch.com, and etishere.com. And so if they also, my website is shown on each of these pictures along with the coordinates. They could pop in these coordinates into Google Earth Pro, and it would take them to the place.
Well, Ben, yeah.
No, go ahead. That's all right.
No, I was going to say, Ben, I'll be very happy to put the links below, your YouTube and your websites and stuff, so that people can contact you. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, but it's been an absolute honor to have you on my show once again. Thank you very much. And I definitely welcome you to come on my show again when you found more research as well regarding the planetary research. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
No, except I appreciate them tuning us in. And I appreciate you having me on. And Michelle Fielding, I want to thank her again for opening the doors. She's a door opener for sure. And I do want to invite your viewers to go ahead and go out there and get these images while the opportunity is there. And they can communicate with me, and I'll help them any way I can so they can get it done. This needs to get out to the public.
Absolutely.
So that would be it, Nick. And I'll say it's a pleasure and honor to be with you today, too.
And likewise, it's an honor for me to be with you as well. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.